If you're about to sell an investment property and you've heard you can do a 1031 exchange to avoid the tax hit, stop, because the most important moves all happen before you sell. And if you wait until closing, it's already too late. I'm going to walk you through exactly what has to be in place before you sell, the one mistake that kills more exchanges than anything else, and a couple of things people in the New York and New Jersey area get blindsided by. This is educational only, not tax or legal advice. Always run your situation by your CPA and a qualified intermediary. Here's the one concept that makes all of this click. A 1031 lets you defer the tax when you sell one investment property and buy another. But there's a catch built into the law. The moment that sale money touches your hands, or even an account you control, the deal is treated as a regular taxable sale. Game over. So think of it like a one-way escrow. You have to set up a middleman called a qualified intermediary before the sale so the money flows from your buyer straight to that middleman, never to you. That's the whole game. Set the pipe up before the water turns on. So here's your before you sell checklist. 5 things in order. 1. Decide early. Make the call to do a 1031 before you sign a listing agreement or accept an offer, not the week of closing. 2. Confirm the property qualifies. It has to be held for investment or business use, not your primary home or a personal use second home. And U.S. property only exchanges for other U.S. property. 3. Engage your qualified intermediary before you sign the contract. This is the one with teeth. And know this, your own agent, attorney, or broker can't serve as your intermediary if they've worked for you in that role in the last 2 years. It has to be an independent party. Or, get the paperwork in place before closing. Your intermediary prepares an exchange agreement, assigns your sale contract over to them, and sends written instructions so the proceeds get wired to their escrow, not to you. All signed before the closing date. 5. Line up your replacements and financing now. The deadline clocks don't start until you close, but they're brutally short and they can't be extended. So you want targets and a lender ready before day one. I break those deadlines down fully in the next videos. Now, the single biggest mistake people make before they sell, they wait. They get all the way to closing. Sometimes the closing statement is already drafted, and then they try to turn a normal sale into a 1031. But by then, the proceeds are headed to them, and once that happens, the IRS treats it as a sale. You can buy a like-kind property the very next week, and it won't matter. The deferral is gone. The fix is simple and free. Call your intermediary and your CPA before you sign the sale contract, not the week of closing. Before you sign, one thing that trips up sellers, specifically in the New York and New Jersey area, a federal 1031 defers your federal capital gains. It does not erase your state and local closing obligations. In New York, you've still got the transfer tax return, and if you're selling in the city, New York City's own transfer tax still applies. There's no 1031 exemption there. In New Jersey, the state estimated tax forms still apply, and a non-resident seller can face a withholding right at closing. None of that breaks your 1031, but your closing attorney and your intermediary have to coordinate, or you'll get a surprise at the table. So the takeaway, everything that protects your 1031 happens before you sell. Decide early. Get an independent intermediary engaged. Sign the exchange paperwork before closing, and never touch the money. Next, I break down the 45-day identification rule, the first clock that starts the second you close, and the 3 ways you're allowed to pick your replacement. Watch that one next. And again, this is general education, not tax or legal advice.